technologically efficient?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Here, I'll just flip it so that way.
Okay.
Awesome. From the back too. That's awesome.
So, I'm sorry that goes down.
Sorry, Marie. Sorry. My fault.
Alright. Anyone else?
I know I did it wrong, and I don't really have time to fix it.
Okay. Way to overachieve.
So,
What did you do wrong about it?
I thought that 5 and 6, they were all, or I thought only A and B were technologically efficient because of the whole, you get more output for less input thing. But apparently that's incorrect because I checked with some people.
Okay.
So yeah. Now I know what I'm doing. My homework isn't really sure.
Good. No name.
I think that's which one.
I think,
yeah.
Aaron. Aaron. Name on there. Okay. So, just briefly, we'll go over the homework. I just turned it in, but, so on question, I think it was 5. Yeah. On question 5, it had,
Can you turn the camera to face the people? You just, there you go.
alright, so method. Okay, so on this one I wanted to know which methods are technologically efficient. And that's a little bit of a trick question. I didn't realize this until someone had come up to the front desk and they're like, I don't get this. Like, I don't get it either. So let's take a look. The reason all of these are considered technologically efficient is that as the amount of labor is increasing, the amount of capital used is decreasing. See that? And I think that was the same with number 6. So there wasn't any one worse option because here you had less labor, more capital, more labor, less capital, and so on. Okay. Did you guys have any specific questions about the homework you just turned in? I hope you labeled things. I get angry if I have to figure out what the heck you did.
I think I did. I don't know.
Okay, well you'll know. You'll know in a couple days. It's just easier to follow. So my work. This is what I was looking for. So breaking it down each time. But if I can follow what you did, you'll be fine.
Question.
Yeah.
I did like all of my computation on the calculator, but I have like each answer for A, B, C, and D. So like 5, 2, 1, 3. But I have like the answer, so like you can see like which one I picked.
Do you know what else has the answer? The back of the book. Yeah, next time just show, like I won't take points off this round, but write it out so that way I can see. Because if you made a math error, I won't know that because it'll just have an answer.
Okay.
So I won't be able to backtrack and say, oh, instead of writing 20, you wrote 10. Page. So, showing your work is beneficial. Yeah, so like I have my table like that, and then for I do method A, B, C, D, and then labor times the amount of labor, and then plus capital times the amount of capital. So that's the ideal version. If it's not like that, I'll still grade it, but
0.
0, yes, maybe 5. Okay, so I'll get those graded and back to you. Are you guys feeling deprived that you don't have a test in this before break?
Oh,
No.
No?
I'm good.
No, of course not.
Alright.
I don't want to test, but I really like having homework to like see
think
the
that's
problems,
really
how they're done,
Okay.
especially like, cause I think that's most beneficial.
Yeah,
So, like,
I noticed
the
that after the
process.
last test is that I should have gotten your papers back graded
Yeah,
for your test.
yeah, it's really helpful.
Like,
That reminds me, do you have our rewrite, like our papers? Oh, okay, never mind.
I get home about 8 or 9 at night. I eat my dinner, and then I work out and go to bed. So I have to.
the exact same thing.
If I don't do that, I'm up till 2 in the morning, and then
I thought you already gave them back to us. I
got mine back.
mine.
I worked on some of them, so I was like, there's so many to grade, I should probably start. So yeah, some of you got your papers back. I'm still working on some of the others. Okay. You'll definitely have them back after break. Erin?
So we're not having a final?
There's a final, there's just no test
There's
right
no
before
separate test.
Thanksgiving.
Okay. I'm just working this out in my head.
Yeah, no, we're still gonna have a final. I'm gonna write it over break, so I can give you a study guide
That would be very lovely.
when you guys come back from Thanksgiving break. As a former student, I always hated having big assignments and things right after break, because it's not a break if you're like doing more work over that time, right? Okay, so my gift to you, I'll try to put together a homework packet, that way you can work on it, and then maybe get a few points out of it, but it's Thanksgiving. Take a breath, enjoy it, right?
And we'll bring your kindness.
And study. Study. So the final, I haven't decided if it's gonna be everything or just from a certain point on.
As long as there's a study guide,
Okay.
it'll be okay.
Okay.
Can you just have it all graphs? I really like the graphs.
Yeah.
I don't
I
know.
love-
I
I
like
like
this,
problems.
I like
At the
vocab
beginning.
in this.
At the beginning, at the beginning of the
Yeah.
semester, whenever we had like the word problems, like explain what happened whenever Sydney went to go buy these pickles, I didn't like that.
What about when Sydney went skydiving and horseback riding?
Oh,
I
I
don't
don't
like
like skydiving,
Fine.
horseback riding, but I like it when she buys pickles.
Sydney, sorry.
I just can't do anything.
Alright. Oh my goodness. So, moving on. Today we're gonna talk about the 4 types, market types. So we have perfect competition. Wait, is this for, no. We were, no, here we go.
That's what it was.
So business organization continued. Yesterday we said that each type of business organization has advantages and disadvantages. So proprietorship, they're easy to set up. There's managerial decision making, which is simple. Profits are taxed only once, which is nice. However, any bad decisions made by the manager are not subject to review. So the owner's entire wealth is at stake with a proprietorship, or at stake. So the firm dies with the owner, and then acquiring capital and labor is expensive. So with this, basically, instead of having like a business account and a personal account, if the business makes a bad decision and they lose a lot of money, then the business account money goes away, but then they can also, if there's not enough to cover it, the personal account will also be empty. If that makes sense. So they're liable for everything, even like using their own personal savings. But they're easy to set up. And then, with a proprietorship, once the owner dies, the company just kind of dies with it. There's no one else to take over, essentially. With a partnership, those are easy to set up as well. And they have diversified decision-making and can survive death or withdrawal of a partner. So in this, you have more than one managing person. Profits are only taxed once. However, partnerships place the owner's entire wealth at risk. So again, you have that wealth risk, and make it difficult. Make difficult the attainment of consensus about managerial decisions. So, if Paige and Sarah were in partnership, and Paige said, "I think the dancers," we're going to say Miss Valley Studios, she said, "I think the dancers should dance 80 hours a week," and Sarah's like, "No way, that's too much. They should only dance 60." What are you going to do? Like, because you're both in a managerial position, but you have to make a decision, either work it out or fight it out. I don't know. Okay, so with that, you have you may not always be on the same page as far as where you're going to go with the firm and decisions. And then withdrawal of a partner may create capital shortage and result in high capital costs. So if in this business, Paige and Sarah both invested $50,000, if Paige decides, "I can't work with Sarah, I'm done with this, we're dissolving this partnership," well, there goes Paige's $50,000. She'll take that with her. Plus any money gained, profit, split, right? So if that would happen, then Sarah would have to go to the bank and say, "I need a $50,000 business loan, please and thank you." So it would cost more for capital, because now she would have to be paying interest on that money. With a corporation, corporation has a perpetual life. It's limited liability for its owners, so even if bad decisions are made, your personal accounts aren't going to be affected by those bad decisions, just the business accounts. Corporation are readily available, large-scale, low-cost capital. They have professional management, not restricted by its owner's abilities, and reduced costs from long-term labor contracts. So with a corporation, you can hire in someone to help manage. So if I own a business and I'm horrible at accounting, that was the worst class in college I got a C. It made me cry. No, I didn't actually cry, but I was not happy about it. I could bring in someone who could run our accounting department. And then, because otherwise if I was responsible for the accounting, I'd be getting accounting for dummies and like pulling my hair out and trying to figure it out. So by bringing someone in who has that ability, it's easier. Let's see. A corporation's complex management structure may lead to slow and expensive decision making, and its profits are taxed twice. So once as a corporate profit and once as a shareholder compounding. So let's break that down. If you have a larger firm or company, and you have multiple managers in charge of different groups of people, it just may be a slow process of decision making, because you might have to talk to all of the other managers on the level, and then take it up to the next level, and then that next level would have to make a decision, get back to you, then you would pass it on to your workers. So it takes a little more time sometimes for decisions. Some of your program ad sales that you guys did, some of the companies have like a business department, and it took like a week or two to get the checks out, or even longer. So they're like, "I'm sorry, we've submitted it, we're just waiting for it to be processed," right? So there's that as well. And then profits are taxed at the corporate level, and then also shareholder income. So if people buy shares of your company, like stocks, mutual funds, right, they also are paying a tax on those. So you're being taxed twice on the same income, basically. There are more proprietorships than any than other forms of the business, but any forms of business. But corporations account for the majority of revenue received by businesses. And I have a feeling I didn't upload my most current version of this. Okay, so, oh. Good. Ish. That's tiny handwriting, so I can't see where you're at. You good? Okay. So markets and a competitive environment. Economists identify 4 market types, and those are perfect competition, monopolistic competition, oligopoly, and monopoly. So what are all of these different types? We'll go through them. Perfect competition we should be pretty familiar with. I think it's come up quite a few times this semester. It's a market with many firms, each selling identical products. There are many buyers and no restrictions of entry of new firms. Firms and buyers are well informed of its prices and products, and all firms all firms in the industry. So with this, you're selling identical products. So it would be an example of that.
Like peanut butter companies, there's like
Yeah.
Peter Pan, I think peanut butter, and then there's bread,
Right.
so you know there's something.
And we have Kroger brand and yes, so they're identical items. And so they can't just, like Jif can't just raise its price to $8 a jar because everybody will just switch over to the other brand, right? Monopolistic competition is a market with many firms that produce similar but different goods. This is called a product differentiation. So there might be many firms, but the products are similar but maybe different in some ways. So I don't know, maybe like organic versus just regular. Because essentially it's peanut butter, but if you're getting organic peanut butter, it's a little different. So the book for this one gives examples of running shoes. So there's Nike, Reebok, Fila, never heard of them, and some others. They all make their own versions of the perfect shoe, and then each of these firms has a monopoly on that particular brand of shoe. So Nike can't produce Reebok shoes. Like, so Nike has a monopoly in Nike. Reebok has a monopoly in Reebok. Okay. But they're essentially the same product, just different. So what matters is that consumers perceive them to be different. My brother went through this phase where he had to have all Nike. It's like you're stupid. Like you're paying $500 for shoes and you get some for like $80. it's a little bit of an exaggeration, but like his shoes, his socks, and then now he's on Under Armour. So like everything has to be Under Armour. Crazy. Whatever. He has 3 older sisters, so like him being particular about stuff kind of expected. But. So back to the perceived, the book gives the example of various brands of aspirin are chemically identical. It's using the same salicylic, I don't know how to pronounce it, but the same ingredient, and different only in their packaging. I feel like this is like shampoo and conditioners. It's essentially the same stuff. It's gonna wash your hair, but if you put it in a pretty bottle, you can charge like $2 more. People go for the pretty bottle. Marketing, there you go.
There are some that work better.
There are, yeah. Yeah, I have this test I do, like whenever I get a new shampoo or conditioner, is I let my hair air dry and see how big it gets. Because it tends to get really large. It's pretty tame right now because I have it rolled up for like on my drive in, but it kind of keeps growing. So that's why a lot of times I just pull it up. I don't have time to dry it. Okay. With an oligopoly, it's a market in which a smaller number of firms compete, and oligopolies may produce almost identical or differentiated goods. So there's fewer firms that are competing. The example in the book, computer software, airplane manufacturer, international air transportation are examples of those industries. So they might produce almost identical products, such as cola is produced by Pepsi and Coke, or they might be differentiated products such as Chevrolet's Lubina and Ford's Terrace. Okay, and then monopoly we've talked about. So what's a monopoly?
Like, it's one firm that, like, they're the only people that sell that type of product.
Right. So monopoly is a market in which only one firm produces the entire output in the industry. So there's no close substitutes for the monopolist product, and there are, however, there are barriers to entry that protect the firm from competition entering the, basically other firms entering the firm. So some of that could be like patents or, did you?
Oh, I think, yeah, I was just gonna ask how do you put a barrier
That
on
was what I was
entry?
gonna ask too.
Yeah, through patents, or what's the other thing it's called? What?
Copyright or something like that?
Say again?
Copyright?
Yeah, copyrights, essentially, I guess patents, like, because that, like patent pending, like a lot of firms have that patent pending. So if you own a patent for something, like other firms can't do it that way, right? So that can prevent them from entering. The book gives an example, now provided this is like 20 years old. In some places, the phone, gas, electricity, and water suppliers are local monopolies. So monopolies that are restricted to a given location. Microsoft Corporation, the software developer that created Windows, the operating system used by PCs, is an example of a global monopoly. Yeah.
I thought monopolies had been kind of like outlawed in America.
I don't know about outlawed.
I mean, cause like in the time of like when they were having like monopoly over like trains and like coal and stuff, like I thought they had put like immense like restrictions on all of it so that there was no way they could have formed a monopoly.
I honestly don't remember. It's something we can look into.
Okay.
But it could be like there, as it says, it is like they are harder to enter into. So they're not, I mean, monopoly's not like the most popular form of a market, maybe in some other countries, but yeah, here you don't really see it very much.
When you say enter into, do you just mean like become a firm that sells products to consumers?
Yeah, setting up the business, there's sometimes a lot of hurdles you have to go through. But yeah, just basically setting up the business and selling whatever product it is you want to. Okay, so from here, they move into measures of concentration, so looking at measuring to see like how competitive a market is. I haven't had time to review this, so we won't get into this until Monday, but basically we're going to do more math and ratios and something to look forward to on Monday morning. Yes. I did at one point, I don't know, here. No, okay. So on another version that I made that didn't upload, let's see if I can pull it up. I basically made, actually I can just look at it. Hubbard and O'Brien, my friends from this book. Let's see. They broke down the different types of markets a little better than chapter 10. Okay, so the characteristic, so it broke down market structures, so I don't even know if we will cover this today, but so market structure characteristics, so number of firms, type of product, ease of entry, you have examples of industry. So with perfect competition, okay, so perfect competition, the number of firms are many. Type of products are identical. Ease of entry is high, so it's really easy to get it in. And then examples of industry, they give wheat or apples. So the produce industry would be an example of those. For monopolistic competition, number of firms are again many, but the products are now differentiated. Ease of entry is high, and an example of the industry would be selling DVDs or restaurants. That says restaurants. Okay. With an oligopoly, there are only a few number of firms, or a few firms. Identical or differentiated. Ease of entry is low, so it's a little harder to get in or get started. And then examples of industries are manufacturing, computers, and also automobiles. What?
We were discussing.
I didn't know what IRD was, and
Oh, identical or differentiated. Sorry, I'm getting lazy. As you can see, I have very beautiful board handwriting. Okay, so manufacturing, computers, or automobiles. And then with the monopoly,